Thank you, everyone, for joining our webinar today, specifically about how 3Kit and really the world is seeing AI transforming the buying journey, specifically for the windows and doors industry. My name is Hillary Murdoch. I lead product marketing here at 3Kit, and I am joined by my friend and product, Will, who takes you through the fun stuff and the demos and all that. So we're looking forward to this. We usually time these so there's plenty of time for question and answer at the end. If you want to drop a note in the Q&A channel or in chat, we definitely should be able to get to those by the end. And hopefully it's a fun session. So again, thank you for joining, and we'll get started. There we go. We're going to go through just some insights into the buying journey for windows and doors itself. I think everyone who is on this call understands the nuances and some of the complexities. So we'll walk through that. We'll talk about our commerce suite for doors and windows and how the 3Kit products slot into those different stages in the journey. And then also do some demos. We'll talk you through. We'll talk about some of the early results we're seeing from these tools. And like I said, we should have some time for Q&A at the end. So yeah, save those questions for that. Here we go. Just to talk about the custom doors and windows industry, these are really high value products that we know are not necessarily turnkey purchases, right? They're not easy to buy today. And all this image is meant to do, other than to maybe confuse the average viewer, is just to show there are lots of steps in the journey, lots of stakeholders involved, lots of education that's required. And often what we know about the buyer, or in this case, the homeowner, is that when they start the journey, they often feel under-supported and pretty overwhelmed by the whole thing. They may have something in mind. They're not exactly sure how to find it. They're not really sure how to shop the category, how to work with perhaps their contractor or trade professional, how they reach out and interact with the dealer, how ultimately the product gets sold, right? So there's just a lot of stop and start, a lot of pain points and barriers throughout the journey. And that's what we're attempting to solve with our product suite. So again, thinking about this current state of the journey, and this is probably highly simplified, but when we go through and try to develop our solutions for this category, we think about it starting from the perspective of the homeowner, right? The discovery process. Do you have something for me? When I arrive at your website, how do I know that you're the right solution, right? Typically there's a huge catalog. There is not a ton of brand loyalty, so a high threat for substitution, high threat of bounce rate. And again, the homeowner ultimately will rely on the guidance probably of a trade professional, but they want to get in first and kind of see what you have to offer and start to formulate in their head what the solution could be. Once they're on the site, how do they get, assurance that what you have is actually right for them? They may wind up at a PDP of a particular door. They see there are lots of different specs. They see there are lots of different options, everything from the wood to the energy efficiency to the color, glass or not. I mean, I don't need to educate this crowd on the complexities and all the options. And they love having options, but they also want to know and be able to narrow down and have the right tools to do that. Ultimately, what you want out of this is a qualified lead, right? But then on the other side, we have the trade professional who is working with the homeowner, the dealer, ultimately the salesperson. They need tools too. They're a lot more expert than, say, the homeowner, but it's great to have tools they can rely on to understand, do we have something that meets the requirements? What are all the different specifications? What are the latest updates to our products? What do we have in inventory? All of those things that even the most even the most educated dealer or salesperson might not know off the top of their head. So they're in need of tools as well. And then as far as getting to that final quote in order, how can we have assurance that this is accurate, that this meets all the proper specs, that it's going to look the way that the customer wants it to look, that we can visualize it and show it to them? Um, and when we aren't able to do that, when they aren't able to do that, it results in returns and order errors, a lot more burden on fulfillment. So again, having tools both at the homeowner level and at the trade professional, dealer, and sales level is really critical. And that's why we've developed the suite of products that we have to really not just give you tools, but give you a fully transformed buyer journey that works for the homeowner and works for the sales side as well. So there are really two, when you break it down in the most essential elements. 3Kit is a commerce suite that delivers a compelling buyer journey across channels. And there are two sets of products we use and that we'll go through today that help us do this. So there's our 3Kit AI suite, which assures homeowners, hey, you're in the right place. We can give you a general idea that we have the right solution for you. And then there's our visual configurator side, which is, okay, now you've picked the product that you want, go in and customize it with all the specifications that are important to you, enable you to collaborate with the other key stakeholders like the trade professional, like the dealer, to make sure it is the exact product that you want. So I'll go through some of the nuances of these solutions, and then we'll kind of show it to you, live with some of our demos. So 3Kit is a commerce suite buying a full buying experience. There are kind of two sides to this when it comes to our AI offering. There is the buyer input side where they can choose from some different visual cues that we give them or some different options. And then there's the responsive product gallery that in real time is reacting to what that buyer is putting in. And this is an evolving kind of conversation between the buyer or the homeowner in this case and your product portfolio. So again, it can start with something like providing inspirational image prompts. What kind of home do you have? Let's just start there. Make it really easy for the homeowner to respond to, and kind of quickly start building out the profile of what this homeowner might need. So we provide those visuals, inspire, and they enable you to inspire and kind of guide with a click. And this really kind of this could be one way to start that interaction. There's also text search. And when we talk about AI-powered text search, this is not your standard search or filter functionality. First of all, it understands your intent. It can derive more meaning from using, just common phrases that a homeowner is likely to use. And then it also does what we call fuzzy matching, which rather than relying on the person putting in exact terms that the catalog is meant to interpret, it can allow for misspellings. It can allow for like terms and make some associations to make sure that the buyer or the homeowner is getting relevant results. So again, it can interpret these more nuanced queries. Depending on where you live or what your priorities are, it could be anything from, I live in a high humidity environment, to, I want something that comes in blue. I have a Victorian home. I want it to be high privacy, but I definitely want there to be glass or a window involved. So again, these are not just your standard searches. These are ones that require a little bit more interpretation, and ones that allow for more, and we'd say better results, because again, AI is doing some more interpretation on the back end, matching that with your product portfolio, making sure you're serving up the most relevant results to the homeowner based on what they've typed in. And so again, once you type in, or once you start with these prompts, you're going to see that responsive product gallery start to update with each new input. What's also nice about it is you're not just going into one PDP per se. Um, it's serving up several different relevant products to you so you can kind of look in context. Like these six, so for example, these six results all meet the initial criteria, and you don't have to go into each product page. You can actually start to look at them compared to one another. And then each time you kind of click or double click into one of them, again, the results are going to start to update and take that new input that you've given into account to make your search experience smarter, more relevant. Another really cool option that we have is image upload and match. So you might be out in the wild, you're seeing, or on House or on Pinterest and seeing a door that, really is appealing to you. And you just want to say, hey, this is basically what I want. You're able to upload that image to the system, and it will deliver the closest door available, again, within your specific product portfolio. So not just any door, but a door that you actually have available. It can also provide what we call confidence messaging, which is some more kind of commentary on the door itself, why it matches the door you uploaded, why it's likely to meet your criteria. So that was kind of our discovery AI offering. Kind of a step up from that, and a more guided selling is what we call guided selling AI, which is enables you to get real feedback in real time. Again, is guiding you more through the experience through a text exchange. So it's got some similarities to Discover AI, but when you say, hey, something as general as, I've got some ideas around the door I want. It says, great, tell me what they are. I'll be able to interpret those. It's not a standard chat functionality, which has very finite answers to finite questions. This is, again, open to interpretation, almost like talking to an expert on your door offerings. So, I'm replacing windows in my Craftsman bungalow. I need to stick with that style. Got it. What are you thinking in terms of price? Perfect. Again, it's this ongoing conversation that is serving up options in real time that it allows the buyer to respond to, and again, get the proper support that they need without having to pick up the phone or email that salesperson or that dealer, being able to kind of help themselves before they're ready to have that conversation. And then finally, there's visual configuration. So allowing homeowners on their own to start to make the choices that are important to them. Like, I might know generally what wood I want. I know what finish is important to me. There's probably not a huge likelihood I'm going to buy a door or a set of doors, in real time in that moment, but give me the ability to at least to start to see what the options are. It also, allows an experience where the homeowner can get to the point where they're comfortable with how far they've gotten. Then they can have a shared experience with the dealer, maybe with their trade professional, have a conversation, and have those more expert stakeholders walk them through the key decisions that they need to make. What this allows is kind of one view. That's how we like to think of it across the journey. Homeowner starts the journey, but within the three kit suite or system, you now are developing a record. You're developing an idea, again, of what the homeowner wants, and it gets them a certain percentage down the path to purchase, and allows trade professional dealer to kind of pick that up and finish it off with the help of the homeowner, which creates a much more seamless journey and hopefully a faster journey. So again, I kind of touched on this, what can be a maybe tumultuous buying experience indoors and windows, and then talked about where we slot in, right? So for the discovery portion, getting them to understand, that we have something that they need. That's Discovery AI. And then moving over to, a real recommendation. You're able to visually configure, build it out, maybe even within your room environment or a room environment to get an understanding of how it will look. Now you're even more, sold on, yes, you have the right solution, submit the lead, and then you're working with that trade professional and the dealer where maybe they are even utilizing the AI guided selling functionality, right? In real time with you, finalizing that configuration, and then finally being able to provide that final quote, and the visualization of the product to go with that quote, right? Which provides, I think, kind of the ultimate assurance to the customer that, you have what they need, they know what it's going to look like. Great, let's purchase. So I've kind of taken apart the pieces of what this journey is and our different solutions. Right now, I'll hand it over to Will, and he'll pick it up to kind of show you these demos in the wild or in real life as someone would experience them. Share here.
You want to go on mute? I'll take over too.
Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody. We were just playing microphone hot potato over here. Yeah, thanks, Hilary. That was really helpful context. And I think like if anybody on this call has heard of 3Kit, a year or so ago, even before that, I think you're still sharing my Ben. There we go. You definitely think visual configuration, you think 3D, virtual photographer, augmented reality, and now we're pushing really hard on product discovery and AI. They're very complementary product offerings, like Hilary was showing. People need to, be discovered. You have to uncover these needs, these requirements from this product. And we found, having a visual configurator is super powerful, and it's the first step in kind of giving these buyers of complex products this to self-service kind of aspect that they want. We also found that once you get to the configurator, if you don't know what these attributes and options mean or what the implications of choosing option A versus option B are, you can see them visually represented in the configurator, but there's still a lot of questions. How do I know this product is right for me? How do I know that attribute A should be this option, or this value versus this one? I think it's just a really important aspect to drive home that these are very complementary offerings, and that's why we're going down this route. Being able to discover the right product and then configure it and be very, very confident that that product is right for you is very, very powerful. So I'll show you one of our client implementations now of Discovery AI. You may have seen us kind of pump this up on LinkedIn. We're super excited to be working with Thermatrue on this experience. But let's just go through it right now. As you can see, we're starting with recommendations right off the bat. I think there's up to 20 or so recommendations right here. And there's a very famous saying, it's very short, less is more. In the age that we live in social media and these powerful algorithms, it's kind of rewired our brains a little bit. We found that if you're on Instagram for 2 minutes and you see 100 posts or 100 videos, you can kind of just sit there and absorb it all, and you don't mind, because that algorithm is trained so well on your preferences that all of the content is super, super hyper relevant. That's kind of what we're trying to capture here, is show buyers or potential buyers quite a few product recommendations, refine, let them select, configure, and then transact. So we'll start here. I'm going to go through a few different flows here on this experience. Like Hilary was saying, you're presented with these predefined questions. Which style fits your vision? What are you inspired by? Warm and inviting or contemporary? These are things that people can answer. As a homeowner buying a door for the first time, I might not know if I want an Energy Star or if I need an impact rated door, but I can answer these questions that I certainly know the answer to about what style do I like? Where is this door going to be living? These are very usage-based questions, and that's kind of the mentality that we're trying to get into. Instead of having a user go onto a catalog that's designed for professionals where they can filter against very, very particular product specifications, we're taking that discovery that's typically done by a salesperson of translating very subjective inputs into product recommendations, and we can do that with natural language processing. You can do really fun inputs too, like how much privacy do you want? You can kind of gamify this discovery process and really, really have an engaging experience with the user. Each of these, again, is going to pump me right out to the product page where I can configure these products. Like I said, this is a very complementary flow of going from discovery to configuration to transaction. And again, these are just very, very straightforward questions. I can make these. I can also kind of throw it a curveball. There's a case where I might have a little bit more details or a little bit more of a desire for a certain aspect of a door, or I might just want to say something custom here. So let's do that. I live in Chicago. This is true. This next part will be a lie. I have a bungalow and I want to make a statement. There's no quiz in the world that's going to have this option for you. If you were going to have a quiz that handled every single potential input, it would be 8 million questions long and very tedious from a user perspective. So letting them have this kind of flexible input is super powerful. And again, you can see I'm getting a nice wide range of product recommendations because the folks that are going to be using this might be in the more emotional part of their buying journey where they may not, be looking for very, very particular, like I said, product specifications. They want to know, is this door going to work for me? Is it going to fit my style? Is it going to look good on my house? So once they kind of get that confirmation, that confidence that, oh, Therma-Tru does have something that's going to look really good for me, let me go to that next step, which is inquire at a dealer or submit a lead or something like that. And I'll show the mechanism that Hillary was describing earlier, which is, oops, let's go back over here. I can upload a picture of a door. And what's really, really awesome about these experiences that we're building is that you can really kind of probe or push this application to create a recommendation however you think might be most powerful. So in the example of this door, I see you've uploaded an image of a door. Do you want a suggestion based on the door in the image, or do you want something that's going to complement the background, right? So it's a very small sounding question, definitely something a sales rep would be able to ask, typically not something you see really on the web. So I'm going to say I want something based on the door. So it's going to take a minute for the application to kind of process what's going on over here, and then it'll make a recommendation for us. Oh, I see a Q&A. Peter asks if it will be recording, will be shared at the end. Yes, this is being recorded, and I'm sure we will
Yes,
share
absolutely.
that. Great. Okay, so the image shows a yellow door set in a dark, vertically paneled wooden wall. There's a small step leading up. Based on this image, here are some suggestions that might have similar features to this door. And again, you can really craft that. And behind the scenes, we're describing to the LLM to parse through this image, pull out relevant details, whether it's the wall or the door, make a recommendation based on that. And again, the actual product recommendation engine that's happening here is grounded in a vector database and semantic search. The AI cannot hallucinate because the AI is not doing anything other than parsing information in image or crafting this message. Everything else is 1,000% reality. We're not living in the matrix here. Products are products. They have to be purchased. They have to relate to a real SKU in a catalog. We don't play in a realm of hallucinations or uncertainties like that. So I'm going to pause here. Actually, I forgot there was one other aspect I wanted to show because Hillary mentioned it earlier. This is very, very engaging experience for individuals. But say there's a pro version, or if a lead was generated, and I want to configure this door and I want to get past color options, which I feel very confident and good about. This is a demo asset, so this is not a Therma-Tru asset. We're jumping here into demo world. You can get into this more complex offering. The height of the handle, the width, these are the pro questions. How thick do you want the glass? As a homeowner, I'm not sure. I've told the pro that I want a door that works for my bungalow. They know I want privacy glass. Now the pro can start asking me, what are the dimensions of your door frame? What other, what's the height, width, depth? I know all of the very subjective, the design of the door that you provided with me in that lead that you've submitted. Now I can kind of do the hard part and we can complete this transaction. So it's a very, very interesting universe to kind of live in this, discovery world, create a very, very warm lead, pass that off to a dealer or distributor, and then carry on that very seamless experience. I want to show one more demo while we're here. It's a little bit of a different flavor, but I kind of want to show the art of what's possible. Apologies in advance for all the door and window folks out here that we're going to step into the dentist's office for a mere moment. But I want to show again how we can kind of facilitate the the smooth, like making configuration easy. So in the case of this customer, they have quite a few color options. In 3Kit-averse, color options are not the most complex things to configure, but if you have enough options, it gets really, really tedious, and you can start describing how you want these things to look versus, a strictly discovery sense. So you could say, I found a door that works well for me, or I've kind of configured this little environment, this entryway for me. What kind of color scheme are you looking for? And you can really, again, use natural language processing to kind of elevate that configuration experience and automate those kind of tedious, very monotonous click this color, see the change, click this color, see the change. I'm not a design person. I kind of pick heinous color options if I'm left to my devices because I don't really know what looks good together. So if you can kind of leverage, artificial intelligence, natural language processing to kind of create those different schemes or colors or what have you, it's a very, very powerful utility to have in the toolkit. So again, I know that was a quick jump to the dentist office. Sorry, everybody that wanted to stay indoors and windows, but just wanted to show again quickly what else is possible in the realm of 3Kit discovery and configuration. So I'll pause sharing there. I'm going to mute myself and play hot potato again with Hillary, and I'll hand it back to her.
As you can see by the variety of companies we work with, leading global brands kind of across the spectrum, but really finding a lot of value for companies in the manufacturing, the building materials, and the doors and windows industry, where again, we can kind of take these complex buying processes, make them much more seamless, make them much better for both the homeowner and those valued dealer partners and distributors, and of course, sales teams within these companies, creating experiences for them that create more of a seamless buying process. So really excited about what AI is bringing to our solution set and how it has almost immediately provided a lot of value for our customers within the doors and windows category, and looking forward to grow that more here in the near future. So with that, if we have any questions, we can take a look at
and if you can hear us.
And if you can hear us, most importantly, geez. Do we see anything in the Q&A?
Just the smoke signal. I was like, everybody's so excited to ask questions,
but I know.
Banging at the door. Sorry, y'all.
And just so you know, we will be sending this, we'll be sending out a recording of this today. So if there's anything you missed, or you want to skip over the part where I was silently talking to slides, but get to my commentary afterwards, you'll have access to that. And of course, the best way to engage in these ideas is schedule some time with us. I mean, we can get pretty nuanced about your particular use case where you're experiencing some tension or some friction in the buying process. And again, talk specifically to how our Commerce Suite solutions will help to manage that. Not seeing.
Peter's asking how the best way to connect after the demo. He has a client that might benefit.
Peter, how about this? I'll take note right now. I will reach out to you and we can schedule some time to go deeper. So yeah, aside from receiving the recording, I'll reach out to schedule time with you.
Oops, you have a couple other questions that are coming in. I'll use your mic so we don't have to play hot potato.
Okay.
So there's a question about what AI we're using. Are we able to work with Salesforce AI if we created a data lake within it? So our productized features that are coming out, we use semantic search in the background, and we can use whichever LLMs are available to us. Typically, we just leverage one of the OpenAI models for those message crafting that you saw. We haven't integrated with Salesforce AI, but I'd be very curious to get some more information on that. So if you'd like to reach out or engage with us, you can. I'm sure Hillary will kind of send out email with stuff. You can find me on our community forum, which is forum.3kit.com. I manage that. But yeah, super interested to know how we can integrate with your Salesforce AI if you have a data lake inside. There's another question regarding the AI tools presented, such as the chatbot and other features. How much control does the customer have over the learning process of these tools? There's quite a bit. We kind of create generic instructions for a few pieces. The confidence message is one of those pieces of describing why the product recommendations are good. The client has quite a bit of control over how to format the messaging and things like that for, quote unquote learning. The LLM plays a very, very small part of our discovery process. And that's because we just want to keep it on the rails. And like I was saying, act kind of in the realm of reality and product catalog and product definition. So the 3-kit catalog does a lot of the lifting. Our semantic search utility does a lot of lifting as well. And you can there's a middleware in there as well that the customer can control, which is, if I accept a query, kind of extract these particular pieces of information. A good example is the ADEC. So for example, if you were using traditional semantic search and you typed Halloween, it would look for things like harvest, fall, autumn. In the case of ADEC, they want to extract colors from that. So there's a middleware in there, we call it the rephrase prompt, in which we say, when you get a query, extract colors that might be relevant to that and pass that to the semantic search. So instead of saying autumn or harvest, when you get Halloween, it turns into purple, black, orange. Those are the kind of things that you can do. And then, of course, we can kind of pull some levers here and there to make sure that the product recommendations are aligned with customer needs. There's quite a few places that you can kind of pull those levers. There's a question from Hugo, arrived a bit late. We did not talk too much about AR. This is mostly about our discovery AI and guided selling applications. Of course, 3-kit is a visual system. Discovery wouldn't be nearly as powerful without the visuals. So we didn't talk too much about AR, but if you'd like some more information, you can, of course, reach out to us. And finally, Mike asked, what is the talk track on the ROI? I'll let Hillary take that one.
Yeah, so what we are seeing early results, sorry, I can go back up to that. 40% increased conversion. And that accounts for both qualified leads. In a lot of these cases, a conversion is considered a qualified lead. That's what a lot of our doors and windows companies have requested. It's not necessarily the ability to convert on site, although we do feel like the technology is getting to the point where perhaps some homeowners and trade professionals would be comfortable doing so. What they're really looking for is increased qualified leads with a better customer experience. Higher order value, we're finding as customers are spending, or rather homeowners are spending more time with the product, being able to explore perhaps higher end finishes or just higher end, accessories, whatever it may be. They're spending more because they have more trust in the product itself. And then just overall, just kind of rave reviews across the board for our customers who have started using this, both from the dealer perspective and from the homeowner perspective, having better tools to be able to not just talk the product, but show the product in real time has been a game changer. So again, some early days in some of these cases, but overall, I mean, by and large, people buy us because they need to create a better experience across stakeholders, or for at least one key stakeholder group. So that's what we're creating here, and continuing to iterate on it.
Probably closer to usage based, but that's a little bit of an assumption on my part.
Great. Again, be expecting to get an email today with this recording. Peter, I have a note to reach out to you to schedule a time, and anyone else who would like to have more of a personal briefing, please let me know. But thank you so much for joining today, and look forward to continuing to involve in this category. Lots of exciting stuff, and we thank you for your time.
Thanks, everybody.